And we're back.
Welcome to the Cavalry, folks.
Welcome to the Cavalry, everybody.
Whew. Good to be
How's it
here.
going?
Good
to
to
be here.
see my friend.
Good to see my friend Johnny Bean. We're back on StreamYard. We love StreamYard. Big StreamYard guy.
We're all about the duck.
I put out a clip today with our beautiful vertical.
Yeah, I saw that. How did you
stacked.
do that?
How did I do it?
Did you caption it and like, or
No,
did
I have an app. I have an
Is it
app.
Opus Cut?
No, it's called Captions.
Oh.
How do you think I found it? It's great. It's exactly what you want. You have to pay for it, but it's like I bought a year's worth, and then I was like, I didn't re-up it because I was disillusioned with stand-up video, on the internet.
Sure.
But now I've like remembered, I was like, oh, I still have a year's worth of this app, so I might as well use it for stuff.
Nice. But doesn't Instagram do that itself?
I think so. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So whatever. I just did it.
I love it.
I did it. I'm reinvigorated. We're only 254 weeks into this podcast, but I'm ready to make it something.
This is where it pops. This is where they usually pop.
This is where you pick up momentum.
Yep.
You
gotta earn it.
We'll be like Kill Tony.
Yeah, who I just read an article has like 3 Netflix specials.
I just read that.
Yow.
It's amazing the whiplash of like, I remember someone telling me when he made the jokes about Puerto Rico right before the election, and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's career is over, and his agency dropped him, and I was like, are you guys this stupid? Are we going to do this every time? It's the best thing.
You guys knew.
It is the best thing that's ever happened to this dude.
Yeah.
It's only launched him into the stratosphere. And sure enough, now, that show was killing anyways. I don't know about you, but it used to be when you start, like I've been doing comedy 20 years. Uh-huh. So it used to be people would ask you, hey, are you going to do Saturday Night Live? Have you thought about doing Saturday Night Live? Are you going to be on Saturday Night Live? That was the like standard for comedy.
Sure.
And then in the last 5 to 10 years, it's been like, have you ever been on Rogan, or are you going to go on Rogan? Can you go on Rogan? But in the last 2 years or year, is Kill Tony. Everyone's like, do you go on Kill Tony? Have you gone? You should go on Kill. You're funny. You should go on Kill Tony. That's what you get a lot. But
is this coming from people that don't know? Like,
no, these are just audience members. These are just like generic. Kill Tony is the biggest comedy show in America, and I don't think it's close.
But if they're such fans of this show and they're like, oh, you should do that, how do they not realize? Or maybe the show has changed its format, but I thought the format was, oh, you're a new comic, or you're a comic trying to start. We'll have you on and we'll help you pop, but really we're just going to destroy you by having, a name comic on the panel rip you to shreds with us.
I think it speaks to the fact that that's where they think I'm at in my career, that I'm doing the gig they just saw me at. They're like, this guy is a new comic trying to break into the industry and needs to go on.
Kill Tony boost.
There have been some comics who have done Kill Tony as contestants that have turned that into, I think that's what they're thinking of, and then have turned that into a real following and sell out comedy clubs and stuff. But
isn't he friends with some wrestler that does comedy or something? And then if you do good, you can open for this person I never heard of.
I have never watched a second of it. I don't tell people that because I think it would hurt their feelings, but I've never watched a second of Kill Tony.
How would you watch it? Oh, like go to it live? I mean, the only thing
it's on YouTube. They're all on
Comedy Store.
Aren't they all on YouTube now or something?
Oh, I don't know.
See,
I thought it was a podcast, and then they have clips. I don't know. God.
Well, we're a podcast, and technically, you could watch us.
Right. but
you know
people
that?
don't. But people listen to us.
People don't.
Well, I don't
Well, some
expect people to
do.
watch. I expect them to see the clips, and then if they're like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
diehards," or they're like, "Oh, I gotta fold laundry," maybe I'll put it on YouTube. But
Yeah.
for the most part, just driving or whatever.
Yeah. So why did we get? Oh, I forget why we were talking about that, but
You brought up Kill Tony.
I did.
Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I don't know how we
Doesn't
got
matter.
started. Rewind the tape. Hey, what's his name? Jonah?
Deborah.
Billy? What?
Deborah, our producer.
Deborah? Benny. It was Benny.
Benny.
Benny,
That's
can
what it
you roll the
was.
tape back?
Benny and the Jets. Okay.
I do have I have a topic or a discussion point to bring up.
Let's get into it.
Hot off the press.
Please.
Last week, episode 253,
Yes.
I was embarrassed to admit we went the Carvana route for
Yeah.
a second time.
Yeah.
I am proud to say, not happening. I just came from CarMax and we're going, as long as it has the word car in it, the Beaners are gonna use it. We just like their marketing.
Wait a minute. What is the difference between CarMax and Carvana?
Carvana
about
is
this
an
last time?
online app where you buy the car, you give them a down payment all over your phone, and it's just horseshit, and then you show up and you pray to God that the car isn't a piece of shit, you know, and you pray that the windshield's attached, and sometimes it's not. But you know, and if you don't like it when you see the car, you're like, I want to cancel, and then 15 days later you get your money back minus the $1,000 shipping fee or $900 shipping fee. So Carvana, I can't. So anyway, so today we found one. We found online at Carvana of one that is what we like. It's a 2019 Honda Odyssey. It's in the price range we're looking at.
Rare
We've got a different
Odyssey.
one. So I paid $100 to have them ship it from some other CarMax to the CarMax in Madison. And I just got back about an hour ago from inspecting it, looking at it, test driving it. I bought this little tool that I see ads. Maybe you haven't seen the ads because you're not car shopping, but it's a thing you like plug in under the dashboard and it like, you know, reads the computer of the car and tells you, oh, they reset the odometer, you know, or the transmission's about to die and it's going to cost you this much. And I plugged it in on my test drive. I pulled off into a little parking lot, snuck it in there.
Wait,
and it gave me the all clear. Huh?
I've never gone on a test drive. They let you go by yourself?
Yeah. CarMax. Yeah, I think they do. I mean, you give them your license and they, you know. Yeah.
Huh.
So I did that. But so Saturday we have an appointment once we get, you know, I get the check and everything from the credit union, everything lined up. Then I'll go Saturday, pick it up, give them. I had to get our car reappraised, the old one, and they gave me the same amount. It came back as the same amount.
Okay, all right. So you're
So
making the move. You got the rare Odyssey.
we're making the move.
Can I tell you something interesting?
Please.
So I do that bit about driving a Prius, you know.
Yeah.
And I did this corporate show on Saturday. And some guy yelled out, Odyssey, Honda Odyssey. And I didn't know what he was talking about. So like, I'm such a good crowd work guy. I was like, yeah, Odyssey, whatever. And then I just went into the rest of my act.
Classic Slater. You zinged him.
I was like, yeah, Odyssey. Okay. Anyway, I've already been paid for this gig, so I'm just going to finish.
I don't care about wowing you people. I'm fulfilling my obligation.
Yeah. I was thinking of opening with that. I was like, this lady paid me for this 4 months ago. So forgive me if I don't give my all tonight. Then I thought better of it. But anyway, so then after the show, he comes up to me. He has no social skills. He's like, just like right in my kitchen, you know, talking away. I'm trying to eat. And he he's going on about the Odyssey driver. He's like, Prius drivers are fine. It's Odyssey drivers that suck. Because it's either one of two people. It's either he's gendered this, so be careful, but
Okay.
mom driving slow and too careful and clogging up the highway, or it's some 15-year-old who just got their license and this is the family car they get to drive, and they're driving 100 miles an hour like a maniac.
Okay.
So that was his case, that the Odyssey is the car to look out for on the freeway.
Why would you say that? There's so many minivans. I would say, I mean, that could fit with the Chrysler Pacifica, the Toyota Sienna,
the Ford Aerostar.
They still make those?
I don't think so. No.
Oh,
that was what we had though growing up. Was the Ford Aerostar? That was a monster. That was a big ass minivan.
We had a van.
Oh, my wife, when she was in high school, drove a conversion van. Her and her mom had
what does conversion mean?
Like one of those huge, like I think what you're saying, like a van, but it was like for camping and stuff is what it was intended for.
Okay, it's not like a camera crew conversion van where it's just empty in the back and you.
But it had like it had the curtains on the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's not a conversion van. I don't know.
I think that is.
But she would drive that to school, high school, every day. That was her everyday car.
We should talk because I did the same thing. I had a conversion van.
Wow.
I was driving the conversion van in a Dodge Street, is the main street that goes across all of Omaha. And I left to go to school. I pulled out of our driveway and I did a U-turn in this, it's a 5-lane highway or whatever. And the middle one switches different times of the day. There was a Dodge Neon in my blind spot that I just boom. And I got out of the car. I ran up to the car. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? This lady's freaking out. She's like screaming. She's crying. She's like, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. I was like, oh, my life is fucking over. And then she called her dad or something. Like people came, fire truck guy. This was a big
holy shit.
And then she's standing with her dad over there. And I was like, I walked up to her. I mean, yes, it's fully my fault. I am not blaming her for anything, but I was looking for a little,
Yeah. Hey, we all screwed up here,
we all paralyzed. You're standing here.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, but she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I was just panicking. And I was really freaked out. I was like, yeah, you almost gave me a heart attack when you said you couldn't feel your legs. How do you think I felt? You fucking
I'm calling my lawyer.
Yeah, emotional stress. Emotional stress.
My heart. I have a heart condition.
You can't do that to me.
I thought you were gonna be like, it would have been very funny if she was paralyzed. You're like, yeah, it was hilarious. I ran into this Dodge Neon, and she was like, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. Anyway, she's a paraplegic now, and I still send her a card every Christmas. But
yeah, nice girl.
Yeah, nice girl.
No, but our conversion van, I don't even think they can make this kind of car anymore because the back, it had like the 2 front seats, driver and the passenger, and then it had like a love seat in the middle that goes across, except for to the door.
Yeah.
Like you only have doors on one side, and then the back was 2 couches facing each other. With a table in the middle. You could take the table out, and then you could also you could have it so the couches come together, so the bottoms match, and then put it down so the whole back is a bed. And that's how we would
I think this is what Heidi and her mom had. You should talk to Heidi because I think this is exactly what she was rocking with. And that is such a funny statement about like American car culture. Is like you a teenager, you're like, I gotta get to high school. How do we get them there? Just take this 15 passenger RV. There isn't like a bus or a way to walk. No. He's got to take the Armada.
Yeah. I'm surprised you don't have to have a special license for that, like you do, truck to drive a truck.
Yeah, you would think, right? Like a CDL.
Yeah. Nope. Old Johnny Beaner
Oh,
whipping U's on the old
whipping
Dodge.
Hueys, ramming Dodge Neons. What happened like with that? Just insurance and you never had to worry about it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think our insurance rates might have gone up after that.
Yeah, it would
I
hope so.
remember being in driver's ed in high school and just being like, God, they keep telling us all these stats of people getting in accidents. That's ridiculous. How hard is it to not get in an accident? When I was in high school, oh my God. First accident I was in, because there's things they don't explain to you. You know, oh, green means go, red means stop, this pedal means this. But they don't really tell you, hey, sometimes on the highway, you'll be doing 70 and traffic will come to a stop. And it's not always very gradual. My first accident was that. I'm going, whatever, 70. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Everyone is stopped. I flew onto the shoulder and like took out, like sideswiped 2 cars before flying into like, the little ravine on the side.
Wow,
Like,
you were a very bad driver.
I was.
This is interesting. I didn't know this about you. Because you're saying they don't tell you this. I feel like they do tell you that.
Well,
I
my
feel like
drivers
they for sure tell you, don't follow too closely because traffic.
they tell you that. But they don't say why,
So you're just like, oh, that's an old wives' tale. Don't follow too closely. They just say that because Big Tire wants you to give more space between.
I'm just thinking like, oh, stop and
conspiracy.
go at red lights. Oh, you don't want to, but on the highway, I'm always in the back. I was always in the back. I wasn't paying attention. Like sometimes the highway stops. On my driver's test.
I don't know. You're throwing out a lot of excuses. I know this is the Cavalry, but you were just bad at driving.
No,
I'm saying
I was bad at driving.
I'm sure you're good now.
I'm very good now.
I was a pretty good driver. Like always a pretty good driver. I gotta give myself.
What's
credit.
your worst accident ever?
Oh, well, it's an all-timer. I only have one. I mean, where it was my fault. I got rear-ended once on the freeway, but there was like obviously nothing I could do about that. I got the only other accident I've ever been in, and it was a minor fender bender, but it was on Sunset Boulevard in LA. Get this. You're not even it sounds like a sitcom. I don't even talk about it on stage because I'm like, it's too
It sounds
convenient. It sounds so contrived. I was on my way to renew my car insurance. I swear on my life, I was on Sunset looking for the insurance office. Like I had the address and I'm like looking, from it's a big street, it's in West Hollywood. And so I'm like looking around and I'm like, is that it? And I'm like trying to read addresses. And that's when I rear-ended a lady. And my insurance had lapsed by 1 day.
Oh,
and I had to pay. I don't remember what the bill ended up being, but it was like thousands of like either $1,500 to $2,500, somewhere in that range, which was an impossible amount of money at that time.
Sure.
And I remember the lady got out. We exchanged it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I kind of was thinking like, man, my insurance lapsed by 1 day. I bet they'll just cover it. Certainly they'll be reasonable. I'll explain. I was on the way to get my insurance renewed,
Yeah, they're cool like that.
No, they're pretty they're kind of sticklers for details, these insurance people. It's amazing.
Oh,
who would have thought? But I swear on my life, that was all true. And then I remember either her insurance called me to collect,
Sure.
or some representative. Maybe it was a lawyer. I don't know. And I was like, oh yeah, I know it's my fault. I'm gonna pay. Like I didn't fight it. And then I was like, can I just get like I don't have the money. I was like, do a payment plan or something. He's like, yeah. So I just set up like $100 a month or something. And
wow.
And they were like blown away. They're like, oh my God, you're paying it? They're like, thank you for actually paying. I was like, wait a minute, I could have just not paid. They're like, oh yeah, nobody ever If
No
you
one ever
like don't have insurance and you hit somebody, most of the time you're just not paying, you know.
Yeah.
That's why
Wow.
insurance is so expensive. But I paid it. I paid that one. I didn't, but that's the only accident where it was my fault.
My question about that story is, what were you going to do? Like, you're the biggest anti-printer. Everything can be done online. Like,
Well,
I don't even know
this
where
was
my office is
okay.
for the
So this
insurance.
was 15 years ago at least, maybe more.
I think they had websites back then.
They had websites back then, but for whatever reason, I had to go to a place to sign something. I don't know
Oh
why.
man.
I don't remember why. I'm sure I was very anti-technology for a long time. You wouldn't believe it now because look at me. I'm on StreamYard
Yeah.
and I have a website. But for
Yeah.
a long time, I was like, I had a flip phone. At that time, I probably still had a flip phone, you know. It's amazing how
Wow.
fast things have changed. But it probably had something to do with like I needed the insurance like right now, and maybe something had lapsed as far as like they needed to see identification in person. That's the only thing I can think
Okay.
of, like my driver's license or birth certificate or something. I don't know, but
Oh, that's a
yeah, I was
terrible.
literally going to do that. If I hadn't gone to do that, I wouldn't have gotten in the accident.
So in a way, it's kind of their fault.
Yeah, and I was looking for the address. That's why I hit the lady. Isn't that crazy?
And it's yeah.
But yeah,
I
people
got
listening right now, they're like, that's all bullshit. Even you're trying to poke holes in the story. Couldn't you done it online? This sounds like horseshit to
I'm
me.
not saying that. I'm not saying it's a lie. I'm saying you were stupid, but now you
Well, I was
explain.
stupid, yeah.
No, listen to that. Here's
But
how
let's
stupid I
remember
am.
what this is about. This is not about me
No,
being
no.
stupid. This is about you being a horrible driver.
Here's me being a horrible driver and stupid. On my driver's test, the first time I took it, because I failed the first time, I sat through a yellow. I was trying to make a left turn. And no one had ever explained. They didn't talk about it in
I
class. How
love
you
this
go
excuse.
on.
No one
You
had
go on.
explained. They for sure explain this.
No,
I
they
don't know what
don't.
driver's ed you went to.
To go left on yellow, like if you're making a left, you go left on yellow.
I think they talk about that you
I just
wait.
waited for a gap during the green, and it was a busy time of the day, so there was no. And it after the third time I sat through it, he was like, "You're gonna have to make this turn sooner or later. You can't sit here all day." And so I fucking was like, you know, gunned it at some point. I don't know if it was like right when the wing turned green, I went before, or whatever. If I
Yeah.
figured out to go on yellow, but I failed that time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, something was up with your driver's ed. I don't think you had good driver's ed.
I don't either.
Well, in Boston. That's how you turn left. Is you gun it the second the light turns green. They call it the Boston left. And
Oh, okay.
I learned that quick. If you don't do that, you're gonna piss off the people behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's like hitting on 17 at a blackjack table. Like you are the villain if you do not take your Boston left. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Driving.
But see, now I'm a good driver. Like, and Erin always says I'm a bad driver, and she's a good driver. But then she brings up these stories. But I'm like, yeah, I have learned. It does something in your brain when you're in an accident. You're like, your brain is like, I don't ever want to do that again, and so you hardcore. Do not do that again.
Well, and you've put the reps in. I mean, you've got a lot of miles behind you between 3 kids and doing the road in the Midwest. It's all driving gigs.
If we're going by percentage, I'm fucking wiping her ass with a better record.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Reminder of that next time you see her. Just bring it up out of context. Hey, by the way, if we're going by percentages, I'm wiping your ass when it comes to driving. She'll be like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know if that's a good thing.
Why would you wipe my ass?
Wiping ass. Do you fold or bunch when you wipe your butt?
Bunch.
You bunch. Oh no, okay.
I think that's technically a better more efficient use of the paper. I think the idea is you're creating more surface area.
You're just putting a bunch of wrinkles in the surface area that you use.
No, because if you bunch, you're creating more of a catcher. You know what I mean? Catcher's mitt. If you just fold, you're just eliminating surface area.
I don't know. I don't know.
What are you doing?
Well, what do you think? I'm defending folding and I'm a buncher?
Well, I don't know. Or you just bidet it and let it go.
That's when I drop them in my master bedroom.
Oh, okay.
But I poop other places too.
Yeah.
I'm a folder. You can get like
folder.
God, I don't know what, probably 3-4 wipes out of one square.
What? Okay.
I thought
you never know.
You would know right away. I watched your face before I said square. You're like, wait, does he reuse?
Well, that's just funny if you're like, you get 3-4 wipes out of a square, then you've used, it takes you, let's say it takes you 5 wipes. So then your second square, you're like, oh, that's still good for a few more wipes. Let me just set that aside.
I'll just leave that on top of the roll for whoever.
Leave that for the next guy.
Yeah.
Well, where were you at this weekend?
I was home. Erin was out of town. She went to a cabin with a friend. And I was Mr. Mom in it. I had to babysit my kids.
Babysitting. That's so funny. We've talked about that before, right? When people are like the dad's babysitting, how condescending that is. How'd it go? You and the 3 kiddos.
It was great. It's
great.
It's great. I love my wife. There's something weird. Maybe we talked about this, about how it seems like ramping up to these trips where it's like our dad's on his own. It's easier. It's almost easier solo.
Yeah.
What
is that? Let's get to that. I think
it's because I can't do anything wrong. And if I do something wrong, nobody knows it.
Because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Especially in just a weekend. If like you were in charge for years.
Yeah.
And then over time,
that'd be
the tooth decay and the health issues would start to show up. And then
we brushed our teeth. Everyone brushed their teeth morning and night. They got their meals. They showered. Everything worked. We didn't have vegetables one of the nights with the meal, but that's because I was lazy.
Yeah. But let's get down to, why do you think, just because you're saying like if Erin's around, there's like a higher standard for how everything has to be done, or is it like there's 2 people
I don't know,
negotiating different decisions that had to be made? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
So you think the ideal household is just a 1-parent?
No, I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm just saying it's easier as one of the parents for a limited amount of time. A weekend. I'm just talking about a weekend. I'm not saying.
I think that's the key.
Oh, it's solo parenting.
Heidi would for sure disagree. She goes out of her way to tell me all the time how much easier it is when I'm home than
same with Erin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's harder for them when we're gone.
We're just great.
We're just that good.
We're just that good. I think that's what you're saying.
It does. As I'm listening, it's coming out bad. It sounds insulting.
Real bad. It's coming out in a way where I really hope Erin continues her tradition of not listening to this podcast.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
I almost said something to her because I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was, but I was like, I was going to be like, you should have. We talked about this on the podcast. She brought something else that we talked about. And I was like, you should listen. And I specifically didn't say that because I'm like,
yeah,
I'm in a better mindset, assuming you're not listening.
Yeah, it works better.
Yeah.
I was thinking about posting clips. I was like, oh, if I post this, someone might hear it. And I don't know if I want them to hear this, Yeah. But then I was like, I said it on the podcast that I beg people to listen to every week, you know, like, what is this, therapy? Do I assume that this is a closed session, you know?
Right. This is kind of my therapy.
Yeah. Heidi started going to therapy again, and she mentioned it to me. It's like, why don't you go? It's good for. I was like, no, I got it.
I got Johnny.
I got Johnny. We
I
talk
got
it
Andrew.
out. We back each other up.
Yeah.
We're good.
Tell each other we're right.
That's all you need.
That really is all you need.
I did a corporate show this weekend.
Where was this?
It was at the zoo in Seattle, the Woodland Park Zoo, but it's for Microsoft, but like a small, it was like 50 people. So it's like some satellite team for Microsoft.
Sure. Well, you can still put their logo on your website.
I know. I got it. God, I should do that. Fuck, I should start building up the corporate thing. But it was one of those, though. I got a real vibe because when I booked it, again, this lady, it was off of that one of the gig site, and then she goes, she wanted to pay me right away, and it was like 4 months ago, right?
Oh,
so it's kind of a bummer because you're like, oh my God, I gotta drive up to the zoo and bomb and not get a check afterward. You know, if that money
you had already been paid in full 4 months ago.
Full month.
Oh, ouch.
In full 4 months ago, and I had to use a credit. She had to use a credit card, which I'd never done before, and so I'm like, oh, I think I can do it on the Stripe thing, not realizing it was going to take like, you know,
a chunk,
5%.
Yeah,
it's insane. So, and then I'd already said I would do it, so I can't like back charge her the credit card fee, you know. So now I learned I got to ask for more money if they do a credit card. But anyway, I got this vibe from her, for like the 2 weeks going into the show, like all of a sudden, no one was excited. Like it was a classic thing where she was like in charge of throwing the party.
Yeah.
And then it was her idea to spend it. And so she's like, they're like, okay, what are we doing? She's like, oh, it's great. It's going to be at the zoo. We got a DJ. We got it catered. And I got a comedian. They're like, what? No. I looked him up. He's funny. Well, how much did you? Oh my God, you spent all our money on a fucking comedian? We don't want to sit there for how long? An hour?
Oh my God, is he going to suck each of our dicks one at a time?
So then, like, I could feel her like removing her fingerprints from the show. Like it was all of a sudden now, instead of like asking me all these questions, like, oh yeah, this is your contact person's at the zoo. They're going to handle it. You just show up, talk to the DJ for your intro. Like, she didn't want anything to do with me. And I was like, I see what you're doing. You're trying to remove if this goes bad, you're very nervous about going bad. And so you're removing yourself from, and then I had asked all these questions. Sure enough, you know, these corporates are like, okay, is there a stage? Are there lights? Is there a sound system? You know?
Yeah.
And so I think she put in a stage, a ridiculous, stupid stage, because of my dumb requests. So it was just the DJ on this like 5 foot high, but like no space stage. So it's way too tall. And there's these ridiculous stairs. And so his stuff is all set up on this giant stage, right? But small surface area, just high.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not what I'm talking about at all. And I tried to explain it to you, but whatever. And then they had like a 30-foot dance floor in between that stage and where the first tables were.
God, yeah.
So you're like, I hate to do this to you, and you're probably going to kill me, but I'm probably just going to stand in front. I'm just going to take that cordless mic and walk and not use that stage for a second. So I hope it wasn't that hard, you know.
Yeah.
But it actually, show was great. It's very easy. It was fun. It was no problem. And so, of course, now I bet she was like taking credit for it. You know, like, yeah, comedy, great idea, huh? I had it all along. Is mine.
And did you get? What would you have done? Hypothetical, honest to God.
Sure.
You're done, and you know you got paid 4 months ago, and she comes up to you with another check and says, here you go. Thank you so much. That was great. Here you go. Here's your payment. Do you say anything?
It's interesting. I think so. I think I say yes. Because the risk reward is too like.
Yeah.
Although that being said, this is a complete one-off. She'll probably never book me again. Not that it was bad, it's just because what are the odds they
Right.
want the exact same comedian for the exact same event? She has no connection to the comedy world. So if you're ever gonna take a shot like that, to just go, and you could always plead ignorance. You always have that.
You always have that.
You always have that. Just go, oh, I was so long ago, I completely forgot that I set up a whole
Yeah.
credit card payment system to get paid for,
Yeah. Oh, I, like you, forgot.
Right.
We both made the same mistake. Isn't that funny?
But I had that happen with Holland America when I first started working for him because I didn't know how the payment system
Yeah.
worked. And the guy was new, the money guy. So he was telling me I had to send an invoice every time, but that was incorrect. So the first time I did one, I got paid twice, which is a lot of, which is a
Yes.
substantial amount of money. And it did occur to me. I was like, I could just like not say anything. But then the problem is,
Yeah, you lose that whole ship.
well, that you lose that they don't like you anymore.
Yep.
But you could always say like, oh, I didn't even know it. It's just direct deposit. I don't know. My
Right.
account's going up and down all the time. I'm not good at paying attention.
Right.
But if they catch it and then you've spent all that money, now it's like an emergency situation. You got to get them the money back, So that's
yeah. That's the real problem.
Yeah. Because I'm not good at just setting it aside and waiting for a year until I feel like the coast is clear. Like if it were a gang and then you rob the bank and then the leader's always like, hey, no big purchases for the first 6 months. I'd be the first guy showing up in the Maserati and the sunglasses like, yo,
yeah, living large.
Yeah. Just like
wait.
Just like a big gold chain. There's a robbery life.
Robbery life.
Yeah, we're trying to keep a low profile, Andrew. But yeah, corporate gigs. We've talked about that before, but corporate gigs where they pay ahead of time, just get the fuck out of here with that. I even begged her not to pay. I was like, can we just do a check the night of? I mean, people think comedians want to get paid early. It's not true at all.
No, I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it screws up your calendar. It screws up when you're looking at it. You're like, oh, I got a gig this weekend. No, you don't. You got a big hole.
Yeah.
You got a big fat, and worse than having a hole. It's not like, oh God, I'm home this weekend. No, you're not home.
Yep.
You're working for free. Yeah.
You ever how often would you say you get tipped on corporate gigs?
Almost never.
Yeah.
Not by this lady. I mean, I got it once or twice. Like, I know I did this trucking gig and they tipped, but it was a Christmas party. I feel like you better odds getting tipped at a Christmas party because they're like in the spirit. Christmas bonus. But a lot of times that stuff's negotiated ahead of time and then they have the check already made out. So guys will tip you in cash all the like just little,
Yeah.
Sometimes you're selling merch. This happened to me recently in a casino and they were like, the guy just gave me $10 and I was like, oh, it's 15 for this or 30 for the shirts. He goes, no, I don't want any of your
keep your garbage.
I don't want that bullshit. Just here. You can have $10.
This is to help you get to a point where you don't have to sell this garbage.
I know. I know. It's humiliating.
Oh my gosh. Good pre-show banter, huh?
Great pre-show banter. Should we get to the topics?
Oh my God. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Johnny.
Yes.
What do you need backup on this week?
I'll tell you what I need backup on. It's very specific, but I think a good amount of people will be able to know what I'm talking about. On Love is Blind.
Oh, I forgot your Love is Blind.
Are you watching?
No.
How many seasons did you watch?
Half of one.
Okay.
Heidi's watched a fair amount.
All right.
She should come in for this part because she would be able to have this conversation with you. But
Well, okay. I'll explain how it works. I mean, you know how it works.
I
But
mean, I know how it works. They
this is
don't.
this is what I need backup on. When they're at
Wait,
the
is this
altar.
the one? Is this the one where they don't see each other till they get married?
No, this is one where they don't see each other till he proposes, and then they do the reveal, and then they go on a honeymoon, and then they go back to their regular lives.
And they realize they've made a horrible
And then
mistake.
and then on the wedding, they go through the whole thing. They read their vows to each other. And then after the vows, while they're smiling and looking at each other, then the person, the pastor or whatever is like, here is where we find out if love is blind.
The pastor, the minister, the man of God,
the minister,
the Pope. The Pope looks. This is the Reverend.
The pastor, as he shakes his head, oh my God, what the hell am I doing on reality television?
I'm going to hell for this. All right.
So he'll say, do you, Maria, take him? And then they always play the dun 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 and a heartbeat sound while they show footage that was, just them listening to something earlier in the wedding, but it just makes it sound like they're thinking. Yeah. Anyway, so then she says yes or no. And in the earlier seasons, they did it good, whereas like, how do they figure it out where they always ask the person that's going to say yes first, and then the person says no is always the second one? Well, they've done away with that. So now we've had a few where the first person says no. But this is what I think. This is my thing. The person that says no should have to stay on the altar. Because whenever there's a no, one of them just leaves and goes back to the dressing room. And then the other one's like standing there with their dick in their hand. And everyone's like, oh my God, how uncomfortable is this? And if they're suave, they're like, hey, thanks everybody for coming. This is still a success, or whatever, whatever horseshit line they have to say to all these fucking people.
Hey, everybody. I know this seems odd, but in my view, it's still a beautiful success because I got a great deal on that shrimp back there. So go ahead, eat up.
But I think they should make it so that the person that says no has to stay there. Because if the guy says no, the woman's like, she cries and runs off. And then the family, the mom chases her. Oh my God, he was such a dick. And then the guy's standing there like, hey, just we weren't ready or whatever,
Yeah.
But now in this season, I'm seeing when someone says no, and this is no spoiler alerts because I don't even know their names. I've seen the whole season. I still don't know who their names are. Where, let's say the girl will say no, and then she takes off. So then he's standing. How fair is that? That's not fucking fair. He should be able to be the one that goes and runs off.
But I understand it because she can't take the. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to hurt this guy so bad. I can't take looking at him and the guilt, so I'm just going to run away.
One of them always leaves.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it should be the one.
So what do you want them to do when they're standing there together?
Who? What do I want who to do?
The couple or the ex-couple.
Well, I want one of them to get I want the one that got dumped to be like, see ya and leave.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm saying, yeah. It's always the woman that leaves, and I'm saying that's not fair. If you dump, you don't get to go run off camp.
I see. Because the man always. So you're saying the man always ends up having to stand there awkwardly, and assure the crowd that everything's fine, and it's all part of God's plan.
Right.
God, who will probably rain fire on this earth because of shows like this. Mm-hmm. It was all part of his plan. But you're saying sometimes it should be the woman. If the woman is the one who ends the relationship, you stand up there and explain to everybody why the wedding is a disaster.
Yeah, and let the guy walk down the aisle and go fucking jerk off in the changing room or whatever.
Yeah, that's what you think they do. God, I'm so sad. My life is ruined.
I'm all alone.
Okay. I'll back you up on that. That makes sense. That seems fair. That seems fair.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying they should both continue to stand up there like psychopaths. Okay, good. I'm glad
They
you're
have to
for
work
one
together.
person. Yeah. That reminds me of Maury Povich. Now, in Maury Povich, they would do Who is the Father?
Yep.
And it was always the woman, like, regardless of whether the man was the father or not, especially when he wasn't the father, she would run backstage, immediately just run backstage. And the guy either would be celebrating or be pissed off, you know?
Yeah.
And so that would happen so much that Maury Povich set up a stage backstage. So then there'd be couches and cameras and chairs, and Maury would just walk backstage and start interviewing her back there.
So she runs backstage. They should just have it where it rotates, and so she's back there, and then she's in front of the audience again.
The whole stage, and the audience stays put, but the whole stage is like a revolving restaurant. Women be running backstage. I think that's what we're going to do. Ladies, let's be honest. Y'all be running backstage. What's that? Some big news happened? I think you're going to run backstage.
Yeah, you got yourself a new bit out of this episode.
New bit, new catchphrase.
a new on stage persona.
A whole new career. Yeah, I'll back you up. I like that. That seems very fair. Whoever does the dumping stands and excuses the guests. Yeah.
Tells the guests.
That seems very fair. And you know what? That seems fair for real weddings.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, I'm sure it's much more rare, but like in real weddings, the classic thing, cold feet or whatever, someone doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That probably happens a lot where the man's standing up there and the woman gets cold feet. She never shows. And then eventually the man has to make an announcement that the wedding is canceled. That's not fair. The woman should get her ass there. Or if it's the man saying, I don't want to get married, he should get his ass there and say, I don't want to do this. So this wedding is canceled. Why is it on the person who wants to get married to cancel the wedding? This is great. That's a great topic.
Thank you. That's what we do on the Cavalry.
Because you're right. Every movie you've ever seen where that situation happens, it's the person who gets stood up that has to excuse the guests.
Yeah.
Or the father, somebody's dad has to do it.
Yeah.
Why it should be his. Come on. He's got enough going on. Take it easy on these dads.
Yeah, Jesus.
All okay.
All right, you're backing me
up on that. Let me ask you a question. Have you bought any? It's Girl Scout cookies season. Have you bought any Girl Scout cookies, Johnny?
You know I have.
Yeah. How many? What's the boxes that you buy? What flavors?
2 boxes of Thin Mints, 4 boxes of peanut butter patties.
Oh. Okay.
Excuse me?
Yeah. This is my top. That sounds like I'm gonna get resistance.
Oh boy. You are.
Girl Scout cookies are awful.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They're horrible bullshit dirt ass cookies. If they were sold in a grocery store next to real cookies on the aisle, they would sell 0 boxes a year. Imagine if Girl Scout cookies had to compete with Oreos or the bakery cookies or any real cookie, chocolate chip. You know what I mean? They can't even do a chocolate chip Girl Scout cookie because they know it's just such bullshit. They don't even have those ingredients.
Not only do I back you up, I will say that if they did that and they even priced them equally to Oreos, they still wouldn't sell them. I agree with you.
No, they're horseshit. And we bought. I know Thin Mints are like edible. That's why we were at Safeway, And they have the audacity to sell them at the grocery store. These lazy ass Girl Scouts.
Oh, I know.
Are
They
like
park out in front.
In the grocery store, or right after the register.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You want to buy Girl Scouts cookies?" It's like, how about I just buy real cookies in this building that I'm in for way cheaper? But I had my daughter with me, and I was like, "Oh, this is cute. Look at these little," and she thought it was hilarious that kids were. She's like, "Kids don't sell cookies, you know." So I was like, "All right, we'll buy one." I was like, "I'll buy one box of Thin Mints because at least I know."
Yep.
Like those are but they're not even really. Does it feel like dessert when you're eating a Thin Mint? It's like kind of like
you have to eat like 5.
You could eat like 10 of them, and it's like brushing your teeth or something.
Yeah.
So, but then Heidi, not unbeknownst to me, from the older kid from Ginger's old daycare, the teacher's kid, she's selling Girl Scout cookies. She bought like 6 boxes of like.
Heidi did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like peanut butter. I put one in Ginger's lunch. Ginger, a 4-year-old who loves cookies and loves chocolate and bullshit. And I put one in her lunch, one of the peanut butter cracker one. I say cracker because that's like.
Yeah, the like peanut butter sandwich one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't touch it. Didn't even touch. A 4-year-old was like, I'm good. It's just a waste of calories. I'm not going to eat that bullshit. So my suggestion would be like, just try. Just make a better cookie. What's holding you back? Charge double for the boxes and make the cookies good. How about that?
You lost me. Why would you even say that?
Because let me tell you something. I'm articulating all this now, and I will put down the gauntlet right now. I will never buy another box of Girl Scout cookies again. I'm saying no to every goddamn Girl Scout I see.
Yeah.
And I won't even let Ginger join the Girl Scouts if she asks me, because I'm like, I don't want you part of this cookie business where you sell all these awful cookies to people. And everyone, here's my other problem. There's a lot of people pretending that they're good. Do you see this? Like, oh, it's Girl Scout cookies. To keep those away from me, I'll go through a whole box and what kind of garbage person are you that you're tempted by Girl Scout cookies? Just buy real cookies.
You know what? Can I tell you? No, I'm not.
I'm talking to one of the garbage people.
Please. I'm not. Keep that away from me. I'm not fucking Susie at the office. The whole magic of the limited. Oh, it's that time. I wouldn't think about it. I got those because the kids are always like, oh, we need, and I just figure, okay, we got friends that have Girl Scouts. All right, I'll buy their daughters cookies, whatever.
Yeah.
I never really thought. Actually, I did. I articulated that they're like knockoff Reese's peanut butter cups, because the only ones that I eat that I don't like Thin Mints because I don't care for that flavor, but like the peanut butter patties, I would rather have real Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh my God, of course. And they're half the price.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about? It's ridiculous. It's a fraud being perpetrated. If Elon Musk wants to really go after something, waste, fraud, and abuse.
Right. Agreed. Fucking greed.
Okay. Yeah, you're backing me up. That's great. No, because
not only am I backing you up, but you have awakened me.
Well, I was eating them. That's the worst part. It's like we had them, and no one else will eat them. Like Ginger doesn't want them. I don't really want them. Heidi is like, she's like, Mrs. Listen to my body. She's like, no, I don't like them, so I'm not going to eat them. But I'm like, but they're here. Do I just throw them? Do I literally just throw them in the trash? So I'm like eating them, and I don't even want to eat. So I was just like, I did it. I just threw them away.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there one that's good? What are the Samoas? Are those good?
No, I don't know what they are, but the only two that I would even entertain the idea of eating are the peanut butter patties, and the Thin Mints are okay, but like any with caramel or flakes or fucking no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Good riddance. All right.
Good riddance.
Good app.
Good app.
Tell them where you're gonna be, Johnny B.
You know what's funny is we talked about this last time, but I literally looked at my calendar today and fucked up where I was going to be this weekend because I'm doing that improv show in Milwaukee on Friday the 14th. It says Milwaukee Improv, and on the 21st it says Improv in Milwaukee. One is an improv comedy show, the other is stand up. And I was like, holy shit, I got to do that the improv this weekend. I'm a little rusty. And then I realized just now, oh, no, that's a show at the Improv. So when this comes out,
I just heard you explain all that. I still don't know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Go to johnnybeaner.com.
Go to johnnybeaner.com. And on the 21st, which has not happened yet, listener, I will be at Comedy Sports in Milwaukee doing long form improv.
I can't wait. I mean, I'm so excited to hear how that goes.
Well, I'll let you know. I will let you know.
All right. Good.
I'm nervous, but it's a very friendly audience, low stakes.
No, I think you're going to do great. Okay, so I will be in Bend, Oregon on Friday, 21st of March at the Capitol downtown Bend. And then March 28th, 29th here in Portland, Oregon, recording the album at Kickstand Comedy right here in Portland. So if you haven't gotten your I don't know why you
bit of a cough there. What's the date of your recording again?
Cough. Huh?
What's the date of your recording again?
28th and 29th. March 28th, 29th, Friday, Saturday, Kickstand Comedy. Go get your tickets. If you can't go, you don't live in Portland, think of someone you know who lives in Portland and text them. That is the level of commitment we're looking for.
Yeah.
Here at the Cavalry. Okay. That's all I'm asking.
Anything less is bullshit.
It's Girl Scout cookie level effort.
Right.
So yeah. I'm doing it. I'm putting in the effort. I'm making the podcast. I'm doing the shows. I'm writing the jokes.
Yep.
I'm half-ass writing them and trying to.
No, you're writing them.
I'm writing them. So you need to text your friends and do your part. I'm tired of carrying this operation by myself.
Andrew and I are sick of your fucking bullshit.
We're sick of this bullshit. All right. Thanks for listening.
Leave a 5-star review.
To
the Cavalry.